Ah, corrupted dungeons. The perfect little arena for 1v1 action and no other purpose to them, no other means at all. They are not used for anything else. Oh, wait. They are. You do still get decent fame in these. Of course, now with the Lands Awakened update, the fame difference is pretty big in the open world, but you still can get some decent fame in the Slayer corrupted dungeons, and more importantly, the loot. That's one of the biggest issues about the open world. If you're fighting other players and you're taking them out, obviously you can get rich off of that. But sometimes we're not all about that. Sometimes we just want to relax, grind some mobs. Maybe it's after work, or we don't have a lot of time, or we just don't feel like getting sweaty for that day. Corrupted dungeons on the Slayer level, is it worth it? So in this video, I went through 10 dungeons, and I calculated how much fame I got. Roughly, I did do some estimates, because it's not exact numbers on everything, because I ain't got time for that. But I calculated the fame that I got, I calculated the silver that I got from drops, from items and things like that, and of course how many times I did get invaded. It's only through 10 dungeons, so it's not crazy, and we're going to find out, is it really worth it? Is it still worth it after the update? Who knows? Let's see. Hello, I am CatDadThings, and I'm ratting Corrupteds today. Woohoo! Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment below, tell me what you think. Yes, there's been so much controversy on this subject. Is it okay to rat? Is it not okay to rat? I come from the background of you play games kind of however you want style, so I don't tell people what they should and shouldn't do. I leave that up to them. People can do whatever they want. It doesn't bother me either way, so the choice is yours. But with this out of the way, I went through 10 different corrupted dungeons on the Slayer level to see if it can be worth the time and effort to do so. Is there a point to it? Are you wasting your time? Disclosure, this isn't a guide on how to earn the most silver and fame humanly possible in the best timing possible. Even some of the runs that I made, well after the chests, the main boss, the mini bosses, even after I cleared all of them, I'd just go around and smack some extra mobs just because I felt like it. Plus, my build is definitely not optimized for this activity, like trying to get all those points as fast as possible. There are better options if you truly wish to make this like the perfect per minute, per hour fame farm and silver farm. I decided to go with a dual swords leather build for the most part with a guardian helm for the extra shielding. It comes in handy. Everyone who goes through this will have different results just because there are so many factors in this game that no one will have the same exact numbers. It's just not going to happen. So I tried mixing it up the best that I could. I only put on a 4.2 bag of insight with only 2 max spec items equipped and with my auto respec turned on to try and find some sort of a middle ground with everything. I picked dual swords only because I wanted to max him to 100, which I did. Hooray, yay. Hooray for that. I used the Merc Jacket because, again, it's already at 100, so I wanted the fame credits as well as that from the Guardian Helm. My Guardian Helm was also max spec. And I was speccing up my assassin shoes throughout this, and the little cooldown refreshing sprint or whatever. I like that a lot. Thetford cape, some stew, and I was ready to go. Considering it was a more leisurely approach to killing mobs, I sprinted to get the 2,000 point mark, obviously, because I needed to negate an invade, and after that, depending on how I felt, I'd take down more mobs than I needed, or I'd just finish up. I mean, maybe I was busy, maybe I was crunched for time, I don't know. After you hit that 2,000 point mark, it really doesn't matter after that point. So my timing, I had estimated around 12 minutes a run through about each one, give or take. So these are all estimates that I'm doing. You times that by 10, and I managed to get about 2 hours of time in the dungeon. Now this doesn't count going to and from the open world. And I did it that way because I'd run from a city to a red zone. I'm based in Limhurst, that's usually where I store everything that I have, which could take some time, rather than the black zone, only because I didn't want to lose my home that I've set. I think it's at Merlin's Rest that I'm set right now. Don't forget about that. Whenever you're going to and from the black zone, you don't want to reset your homes if you're not aware of that. So I didn't feel like doing that, so I just ran to red zones instead. I was invaded a total of 4 times, so that's 4 out of 10 times. That's actually almost half, more than I remember, but again, maybe that's just me. And one of them, I actually got a kill, even though it wasn't my intent. I'm in a rat set right now, so I wasn't thinking about fighting people. But one of the best lessons that you will ever learn in this game is when to seize an opportunity. I really wanted to just walk around, kill mobs, take out crystals when I was invaded, but they got too stuck on the chase. Like after I downed about 2 crystals, they got too stuck on that chase on trying to get me or to stop me from just taking out more crystals, so they kind of overextended. They got too stuck on that chase. They're hitting traps. Mobs were taking them out. So I turned and I got a freebie. Even though I wasn't set up for a fight, I managed to grab one. Because why not? However, I did die once because I got too ahead of myself. And I kind of forgot what I was recording for. I went into autopilot. Someone invaded and I was like, oh, it's a fight. Let's go fight. I went to go take it. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I'm not set up to fight. I don't have the right gear that I usually like to run or even the right abilities. And I went for it. Obviously, they destroyed my face because I was not ready for that fight. So, yeah, I was here to rat. I died, but hey, that's okay. There's still a profit in the end for me. As far as profit goes with overall items, and yes, I did make a profit based off of that solely. But I do have less silver overall than I did when I started. Even after selling my loot, that'll be the case. But that's only due to having the Bag of Insight, the silver to fame thing turned on. Also, my auto respec was turned on with a couple of the items that I had at the max level, which, by all means, if you just want profit, like you don't want to lose any silver while doing this, granted you don't die, but you don't want to lose any residual silver, then by all means, don't turn on auto respec, don't have the Bag of Insight active. But at least for me, when I like to fame farm and silver farm, I like to try to make the activity so that I don't lose too much of either side. So maybe it's not the absolute best fame per hour, per half hour. Maybe I'm not getting the highest numbers with that. But also at the same time, I'm not losing silver, or at least so much silver that it's going to break the bank. So the activities that I try to do, at least in my own solo play, I like to try and find that happy medium so that they balance each other out so that I'm not lacking in either area. But of course, this game is a sandbox. Anyone can do anything the way that they want. This is just how I do it. Now for the fame and silver totals, I got some common chests, some uncommon, and a few decently sized rare chests that helped boost my loot drops quite nicely. Again, it's heavily RNG based, and as always, the premium players will have better chances. It's just how the game is made. Plus your infamy, that does increase your loot tables as well. But if you're ratting and you don't die a lot, slowly but surely you'll get to those higher percentages, which is nice. Anyway, so my fame beforehand was about 94,850,000. That was about it. I had 5,800,000 fame credits. So my fame after was 95,932K. So we're looking at about a million in fame alone that I got, plus the books, the tomes that you get from the drops, which brought me to about 1.3 million fame plus. Now the credits, though, this is the big money for me at least. I was at almost 6 million credits. I ended at 8.7 million. So after I went and did all the numbers, I had about 3 million more fame credits total, which is fantastic because like fame credits, like for those of you who don't know how to use them, you can put them into any item or items that you wish. So maybe you're using something that you're very comfortable with, that you're good at fame farming with. Like back in the day, Great Axe used to be the best thing to fame farm with, going through dungeons and things like that. It's still really good, but it was like the king of fame farming. So basically, if you wanted to get spec into anything, you'd put that bad boy to 100, get an armor set to 100, and you did all of your grinding with that. And then you used your fame credits and put them into other things that weren't as easy to fame farm with. And that's kind of how that works. But this isn't a guide on that. So now we'll get into the actual loot, the silver that I made from this. Okay, now here we are, finally the important part. What everyone's been waiting for, we are going to take a look at how much silver can be gained from this activity. Remember, I only estimated about 2 hours, and it wasn't for optimized dungeon clearing. I was kind of doing my thing, taking my time. So in that amount of time, I was able to get 2.6 million just from drops alone, just from the loot. I did get a kill off of that, but you know, sometimes that happens. So I'm including the drops I got from that kill into this table. Now, as I went to the bags, I got about 543,000 in drops just from the silver bags alone. There's the fame from before, the fame tomes. So that's 3.1 million silver. And just 10 corrupted dungeons alone, I was only ratting. I wasn't doing anything else. That's a lot of silver. You can make a lot of money by doing this. I mean, over 3 million, that's a third of the way to premium. Just saying. Granted, you do have to have some decent spec to even enter into this layer level of corrupted dungeons. I think it's 1200 is the minimum. That's just the bare minimum to get into there. And then you need even more so if you get invaded, because if they happen to find you and they're just someone with high roll and with high spec and they're using high gear, they're going to obliterate you immediately. If they find you, of course. So that's kind of the risk that you run. But is it worth it? That's totally up to you. You'll have to find out for yourself. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you do enjoy this kind of content. I appreciate all of your support in me making videos on different games so far. I'm going to keep going forward, so let me know what you'd like to see in the future, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.